Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Coaching Angel Show here on Transformation TV. My name is Angel, and I am your host, and it is always an extreme pleasure to come to you and bring some of the most interesting difference makers that are really happening right now on the planet in the world of personal development. Today, I have a gentleman by the name of Robert Clancy, who's another amazing soul. And I'm just so grateful that he's decided to join me today so you could learn all about him. So let me tell you a little bit about him just so you could get a little bit acquainted before we get started. Robert Clancy is a creative visionary. He's a #1 international best-selling author and a spiritual teacher. At age 19, Robert had a divine spiritual encounter that altered his life in profound ways. In 2012, he created the Robert Clancy Guide to the Soul Facebook fan page, where he shares his inspirational thoughts, now followed by nearly 1 million people worldwide. He is a sought-after speaker, presenter, and guest. He's also a co-host and producer of the Mindset Reset TV show. Robert is also a regular contributor and weekly guest on the Los Angeles-based syndicated late-night health radio show. His latest 2 books, The Messenger and Soul Ciphers, Decoding a Life of Hope and Happiness, both quickly became a #1 international bestseller upon their release. Robert is also a 6th-degree black belt master martial arts instructor and was recently brought into the Action Martial Arts Magazine Black Belt Hall of Fame. This is a man who is incredibly diverse. He's doing a lot of great things in the world, and it sounds like he's enjoying his life as well. So let me welcome Robert Clancy to the show. Robert, it is an extreme pleasure to have you with me, and welcome.
Well, thank you so much. And it's an amazing pleasure to be here and to actually talk to you now. We've been chatting online through text, but now we're bringing it live. So this is awesome.
What's really kind of special is that the last guest I had on my show is someone who you partner with on your show, the Mindset Reset show, and that's Lisa Winston. And
Yes.
She actually connected me to you, and I'm so delighted that she did. What a great gal she is, and it's really a pleasure to have you be here with me as well. So let me just kind of get a little in-depth idea of who Robert Clancy really is today in his life. Who are you, Robert? Who are you really today in your life?
It's everything as far as my analytical side and my spiritual side are completely equal. And I'm moving more in a balanced way toward the spiritual side for the rest of my days on the planet. So I'm kind of stepping through that door and leaving a little bit of the career and moving into the calling more so. And this is the year that it's really kind of unfolding in those, and it's what I have to do. It's what I was put on this planet to do. And I really want to take on this and all the other things are still in there. All my other tech things and my consulting and web development and marketing, because I do all those things as well. And then the martial arts has just been an anchor for me. So that's where I'm at.
Wonderful. So where are you right now in your work, in that you're kind of transitioning into a little bit of a transformational path and moving more in the spiritual phase of your life, which I've been also on for a number of years. And it's very, very exciting. And I don't know, there's just a special part of this journey that's hard to explain to people that have not connected with it. But where are you with it? Are you writing more books? Are you?
I will be writing more. Actually, right now, my book, The Messenger, that you mentioned, is I have a screenplay, and it's in development right now. And the movie is actually in pre-production, which means that it's in the phase where they're getting the funding and the screenplay is being developed, and they're starting to shape up who the director might be. I'm in sort of an on-the-fly masterclass in how this is done, because it's been like 2 years of this process just to get to this point. So movies are not overnight. They take a while to get all things right, and they really want to tell this story correctly. And it's a story of what happened to me with my divine experience.
I would love to hear more about that experience for sure.
Yeah.
So how did you even get into the personal development world to begin with? What is a little bit about your background story?
Well, that's the divine experience, really, is how that all happened.
Okay.
And I've been volunteering since that point, pretty much 30 plus years of volunteer work, working with youth and in leadership development through community service. I do a lot of work with Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership, and really that age group, high school sophomores, because they're at that point where it can either go down or you can go up. So it's a pivotal point in their age that's really critical, and there's a difference there. And I've been able to tap into that and help them really rise to who they're going to be in this life, which is an amazing thing to help hundreds and hundreds of these young people.
Mm-hmm. And that's so important. I often speak about this with some of my guests, that I feel the youth today are just so in need of development in the whole personal development area, and just even life skills. They're just really in need. I think a lot of what they're getting in the education system lacks some of what they really need to just go live life when it's done. So
Yeah.
that's just my thinking on that. Now, the books that you've written, obviously there's a spiritual wind beneath this that I don't know enough about to really speak on, but is there anything more that you could tell us a little bit about the books that you've written and just kind of where they took you?
Yeah, they're each book, they have short stories in them, except for The Messenger, which is really almost chronological of what happened to me. But the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Soul and Soul Ciphers are short stories, inspirational things that have either happened to me or I know certain people that they've happened to. And at the end of each chapter in Soul Ciphers, I have 3 decodes. This is my programming side, because you can actually reprogram yourself for happiness and to be able to handle a lot of stress or different things coming at you. And each one has a decode based on the chapter. So there might be one that's on hope or happiness, and the decode might be, do you smile when you're alone? Mm-hmm. And I smile when I'm alone because I realize I never am. Mm-hmm. So there's a perspective change on each of these things, and the stories illustrate it. So my first book, I didn't have the decodes, and people said, I read your thing, I was so inspired, I was crying, I saw how you journeyed through forgiveness. Mm-hmm. How do I do that? And I thought, oh my God, they missed the so I put these decodes in, which are going to help them understand how to do that, which was the key part of it. And it was kind of funny that they didn't get that from the first book, but the Soul Ciphers, they're all in there. So we brought it up. And the other part is with my divine experience, I get words.
Yes.
I get words, and I write them almost every day. Mm-hmm. And they come to me when I meditate every night. I have a little routine where I do a prayer, and that's also one of the decodes, because many people were coming to me saying, you're so happy, and you seem like you have the perfect life, like nothing's ever wrong. And I said, it's pretty much probably wrong all the time, just like yours. There's things that, challenges. It's how you handle those challenges that come at you and try to be at peace with the things that you can't change. And to journey through that.
Thing. Yeah. So the whole serenity concept, I think, is really a big thing to finding that peace that you really want to connect to.
Right.
It's interesting that I also write down the spiritual messages that I get.
Yeah.
A book that I released last year that went on to be a bestseller, I wrote between 2 and 3 in the morning every single night, the whole book. And people were like, how could you write a book in the middle of, that's just when it came.
Yeah, when it comes. And I know that because I wake up sometimes at 3:00 in the morning and words are right there. I type them in, I go back to sleep, or I'll stay up and meditate, right. And there's more that comes.
So I'm working on a second book now, and it's called Why Not Me, Why Not Now? But it's about attachment and letting go. Mm-hmm. So when you think about those things in your own life, where have you found the greatest challenge in dealing with attachment and letting go?
It was recently. I mean, we're looking at downsizing and all of those things, and we started going through these boxes. I'm like, I've moved these boxes from one location to another, to another, to another, to another. And I said, I'm not moving them to the next place. Mm-hmm. And that's letting go of that stuff. And I looked at some of these things, and I found the people that they belong to be with. And releasing that stuff. I mean, I'm talking about, I inherited all of our family pictures for our entire family. This is cousins, this is aunts, uncles, years and years of pictures that my mother had taken of the family. And they go all the way back from, I have pictures from the 1800s all the way up. Not the ones my mom took in the 1800s, but they were passed down. And I gave them to my youngest first cousin because I knew she was the one that's going to become the archivist, and she'll get these pictures and she'll go through them and start sending them to the people that should see them in the family that may not even know these still exist. Mm-hmm. That's letting go. That's understanding that you don't need that attachment. I've enjoyed these pictures, and they were crying when I gave them to them.
Sometimes it's a blessing when you can let go. You know,
yes.
we have to constantly cleanse ourselves in every way, physically, spiritually, yes. emotionally. Just the whole mental clutter that goes on for most of us most of the time is the greatest area that I think requires letting go. You know, letting go of that toxic thinking that can just take hold every once in a while and kind of sink you down. So what do you do on a daily basis that keeps you at a peak place mentally? What's one of the things that's like a daily thing, besides maybe meditation, that you do, or breathing? I know a lot of breath work is very helpful too.
I'm an analytical person, and one of them is to not overthink it. Mm-hmm. If I leave out meditation and those things, that really centers me. And the martial arts really helps bring all those things together. And when I was inducted into the Action Martial Arts Black Belt Hall of Fame, the banquet was attended by 2,000 master martial arts people from around the world. They were masters or grandmasters in the room. What I learned is that their mind, body, and spirit are all on the same level. Mm-hmm. And that spoke volumes to me, being in that energy around them. That's what martial arts has brought to me is that centering, and that's what I rely on. And it's like going into allowing the flow. You know, when you have energy coming at you, don't try to stop it. You just dance with it, especially negative energy.
I know martial arts has definitely been something that many people I've met along my life has told me has just made a tremendous difference in their life. So I've tried to really grasp what that is and what that looks like, and you know, how that really works for people. Is it just the physical release that creates that center that you need? What do you think it is really that drives people to martial arts to begin with?
Yeah, it's being able to control your body and being in that kind of control over things, especially when you're doing forms and you're doing different, like Tai Chi as well, anything like that you're controlling your whole person. Brings something to another level, especially when you're controlling it in a way that you are not going to hurt someone. Because if you spar, you have to have control to do that. And if you're not in control, you can break somebody's arm or leg, or pretty much they could be injured for the rest of their life.
Yeah, that is.
And you have a big responsibility to be in that kind of control and to be able to do that. And then it's the holistic part of it too, because you really have to focus. Every piece of your energy. I put my hand through 4 concrete pavers that were bought at Home Depot, so they weren't like trick bricks or something. These are pieces of concrete, and I'll let you, if you hit one of them with your hand, you see that's pretty serious. And I'm glad I didn't touch it before I had to try to break them, but I broke 4 all at once. And that test, my 4th degree master black belt in Taekwondo, was the same day that my mother was laying on her deathbed.
Wow, Robert.
And my father told me, he said, "You've worked too hard for this. You go do that test, and she'll be here when you come back."
And was she?
Yeah, she was.
Perfect.
So it was a lot to do that. And she did pass that night, and my dad, 2 days later, tied the belt around my waist.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot to that, and knowing that journey is all part of what you do, and that's the kind of control and focus that I'd have to have. And I just remember one point in everything that my mind jumped to that for a split second, and I was able to steer back and finish what I needed to be there to do.
It really helps, I guess, to help you with your focus, particularly.
Yeah.
I imagine if you can control your body like that, then you can really work on controlling your mind and your thinking.
Right.
And they go hand in hand for sure.
Yeah. Because you can see something when you see a lower belt, when the first time they're sparring, for instance, and they're in that confrontation mode, they're tight, they're stiffen up, they're like robotic. And you see a black belt and they're just like floating around, not a worry in the world about, even when they're sparring other black belts that are even better than them. It's like a dance, and there's no tension. and they never get hurt because they're of that mindset.
It's amazing. I
yeah,
find that amazing, honestly.
yeah.
So over the next 2 or 3 years, what would you like to see happen? I mean, what would you like to do or become or have in your life that maybe isn't happening right now, but you're aspiring towards that goal? What would that be like for you in the next few years?
It's to tell this story because, as I said, it's something I kept a secret for so many years, and it's to fully step into my truth, and I've been doing that, and I surrendered to it in 2012 after I told my father the night my mom. So that same night that I had the black belt test, I told him about what happened to me, my divine experience. And I know what I saw, and I know what happened to me. And I wanted him to be at peace because in long story short, it was my first time meditating and an angel manifested in front of me, but it was also my lowest point of my life. And she touched me in the forehead with her index finger. And I didn't really tell anyone. The first person I told was 5 years after this happened, and the second was a couple more years after that. And I just didn't want to be judged. And now, I've thought about it and I said, I'm not living my truth and I need to do this. And I talked to people that it's not necessarily a need or a want, it's a have. I have to do this. It's what I've been guided to do, is to share this story, and it's what I want to leave behind for people because it will bring hope. So that's what I want to do over these next few years, is just tell this story, put it on record, and leave it there.
I can so relate to this. It's really why I wrote my first book. All the spiritual experiences, all those divine moments that are almost, you have to pinch yourself because it's hard to even believe. I had one in particular out in Arizona that's in my book with someone that I believe was an incarnate of the Archangel Michael. So, I mean, I've had my share as well, and it's very transformative stuff. You don't come.
Yeah, I kind of know what you're talking about. So interesting thing happened about 3 weeks ago.
And what
I pulled
was that?
into the gym parking lot, and it was 4:30 in the morning. I was waiting to go in. It opens at 5. And I started questioning God, if I can do this, if I can tell this story, if I have the strength. So I wasn't sure. So I get done swimming. It's about 6 a.m. and this elderly man's next to me, and he said, "What time did you get here? You must have got here very early." And I said, "Yeah, I got here. I actually woke up at 3, then I woke up at 4, and then I just finally got in the car and I drove over here, just like, or 3:30, and then drove over, got here by 4 and waited." And he said, "Wow, that you doing the thing." And all of a sudden this other guy was next to me, and I've never seen him before, and he looked like Buddha. And he said, "That doesn't sound very restful. Shouldn't you be resting before you come here?" I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, what were you doing?" And I said, "I was meditating." And he said, "Yeah. Did you receive anything?" And I said, "I did. I received words." And he puts his hand on my shoulder and said, "Well, you have to bring your beautiful message to the world, don't you?" He walks into the shower area. The other guy walks out. I walk in the other area to brush my teeth. I pick up the toothbrush and I put it down and I walk over to the showers. It's empty. There's no one there. I walked out in the hallway. All I have was on my pants. Now there's a guy vacuuming. And I said, did the guy just come out? And he said, "Yeah." I go, "Thank God," because I thought I was going crazy. He said, "Yeah, the guy with the white hair, the elderly guy, came by here." And I said, "What about the short guy that was bald?"
Yeah. Kind of like an episode from the Twilight Zone.
And I walked back in and I brushed my teeth and I
Yeah.
went to work. And I thought, okay, I can do this.
So what will your message be to the world, Robert? Besides the experience itself or the experiences themselves, if there's more than one that you're going to refer to when you share.
Yeah, there's 3 words. And there's actually a 4th that makes the pyramid of them, but it's faith, love, hope, and peace.
Mm-hmm.
And the interesting thing is faith, love, and hope have no synonyms. Neither does peace. It's just is. Mm-hmm. There's things that get close to it, but they only exist. And the other thing is they only exist when you believe in them.
I love the word faith. I actually have that on my Facebook profile page.
Yeah.
I love the acronym, fully accepting impossible things happen,
Right.
as the definition of what faith might be described as.
Well, I have peace. Positive energy actually creates excitement.
I love that.
Right back at you. Touche.
What is something like that people just wouldn't know about you? What's just a little something that most people wouldn't know?
I mean, most people probably wouldn't guess, but I am I'm a diehard romantic. I'll watch movies and some of them and I'll be crying. I'm in touch with all of my emotions. There's no other way I can be because of what happened to me. It's just, I feel love, I see it, and when there's amazing things like that, I will break down and it's all right and it feels good. So yeah, I'm crying at the movies.
I think we have a lot in common. I too am a hopeless romantic, and I wouldn't want to change that about myself. I think that's a really nice quality that someone can possess. It's connected to a lot of warmth and love and sincerity, and so I'm very much on track with that as well. So as far as where you're going to be at this point, are you going to be doing any kind of book tours, or besides this movie that you're involved with, anything else going on? Any way in particular you'd like people to connect with you and find you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure once the movie's out, when that gets produced, there's going to be I'll be doing a circuit of something to promote all that. And I don't know what that is yet. It's going to unfold when it unfolds, and I just let it happen in divine timing. The other is, if you go to guidetothesoul.com, that's where all the links to my social media, and I post periodically on almost every platform, so you'll be able to find something up there that's of interest. And just the words keep coming, so just enjoy them. And if you go to the Facebook page, don't read too many of them all at once, or you're going to overdose on love, and I'm not responsible for what you do. So I do have a little disclaimer.
I know, I see them every day.
Yeah.
What would be an email if someone wants to write you to get in touch, maybe has questions, maybe want to know more about what you're doing in the world? Where can they email you, Robert?
They can email robert@guidetothesoul.com.
Robert@guidetothesoul.com. Okay, terrific.
That's my direct email, so have at it.
So any final thoughts or final words on where you are at this point that you just really want to put out there for people to, when they think of you, think of what? When they think of Robert, think of what?
Just love. And it's an acronym that I have. It's leadership, opportunity, volunteerism, and enthusiasm. And when you fill your heart with love, life will mend itself. But when you fill your soul with that love, you'll be able to mend the hearts of others. And those are the first words I ever wrote that I downloaded from the divine.
How beautiful. That's beautiful. It's wonderful when you are in that place where love is all around your life. It is a wonderful thing. So I wish you love, Robert. I wish you lots of continued success and enlightenment on your journey. I kind of connect with where you are, and it's been such an interesting conversation to share with you. Thank you so much for being on my show. And again, I hope we connect at some point in the future.
Absolutely.
So, go in peace, and much love to you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robert.